Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As we all know, life can be miserable, it can be dark, so we're here to bring you a little bit of joy, a little bit of light, and hopefully make your week or weekend, depends what it is. I've lost my chain of thought already, and we are 20 seconds in. There you go. So saving me today is Stu, as usual. How you doing, Stu?
Oh yeah, throwing in the metaphorical life preserver to bail you out of the choppy waters of the introduction. Yeah, but yeah, not too bad, thank you.
It always starts off okay, doesn't it? The intro. It's like, Brad might quite have it this time. No, it's gone.
I know, but
it's gone.
You know, that's it. The listeners are used to it now. It's all good.
Yep, they know what they're expecting. So
not a lot. Yeah.
No, not much at all. No, we've been gaining traction on a few different things. I actually had to look at some analytics for the first time in months. And tell you what, not bad.
Nice.
It's getting better. There's 3 people listen to us now, Stu.
Oh wow!
3.
So we've tripled our audience. That's really good. Yeah.
I know. That might have been me and you doing a couple of test plays on it, but I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll have it as well.
Been doing a lot of tinkering this week on Steam Deck. That's my favourite, definitely my favourite genre of video game, I think, tinkering.
Yeah.
I've been making custom cover art because I've decided that all cover art on my Steam Deck must follow the same pattern and be kind of like a background with a white coloured logo at the top. And all of them the same. Like I've got my own little Criterion collection going on.
Oh, lovely. That's really cool. I think that's cool. Most people would think it was terribly geeky, but that's where I live. So yes.
Yeah, I know. Now, what would be a good idea to do that sort of thing when you've got a small library of maybe like 10 to 20 games, and then you build on it. Not when you've got like well over 2,000 games from a history on Steam. Not the best place to start. But there we go. It gives me something to do, and then I'll probably get about 3/4 of the way through and get bored.
Yes. Yeah.
And they go, I want to undo all this, and then spend my time undoing it.
You must
just like listening to this podcast, Stu.
Yeah, absolutely. You must tell me how to do the thing where you can use that plug-in to make the contrast and stuff better.
Oh, what Vibrant Deck? Yeah.
Yeah. Because. Yeah.
Have you got Decky Loader? I'm not obviously this isn't a full-on tutorial going on middle of the podcast, but have you got Decky Loader?
No, I haven't.
I will set later on. I'll talk you through how to do it. It's really easy. If I could do it and I'm blind, then anyone can.
Nice one.
Anyway, talking about anyone being able to do stuff, did you know how easy it is to make video games, Stu?
I didn't. I actually assumed it was relatively hard, but if you're telling me it's piss easy, then I'll accept it. Really
easy. You just say this is the video game I want, and you make it. Okay. Off you go,
nice.
And it's done.
Right.
I know. No difficulties in it whatsoever. That's the weirdest segue. I kind of lost I'm really losing my chain of thought this week. So, Stu, what you been playing?
Well, first off, I had a quick go of one game called Ruiner, which is so I had stopped playing it because I started playing something else, the reasons for which will become apparent in a bit, but I had about 2-3 hours on Ruiner, and what it is it's essentially a kind of arena shooter in the style of Smash TV and Robotron and that kind of thing, except you do also traverse between areas. So like, a little bit like Ex Machina as well, that sort of thing. It's got a little couple of quirks to it where you have like skill trees and stuff, but not like really heavy skill trees. They're comparatively light. There aren't a vast number of things to pick up, but they are significantly different enough from one another to be interesting. And it's this thing of like you're an android type thing and you're in a world where you've just been programmed to kill, and there's some grey area over if you're doing the right thing and killing the right people sort of thing. It's got a little bit of a Syndicate kind of a vibe. It's very monotone. It's kind of almost all, well, it's like duotone because it's black and red, but black isn't the colour, so red. But it's fairly monotone, but in a good way.
Well done, by the way. Well done.
Thank you.
Black and white are not colours.
Yeah, that's right. And white is all colours. So, yeah.
White is all the colours. Black is nothing. You've never seen black.
That's right.
Just anyone wants to listen, you've never seen black.
Correct.
Sorry, Stu, I'm going, oh, that's going to go way off tangent if we talk graphic design. You just carry on with Ruiner before I ruin your talk.
Hey. Well, like Father Ted said, most of the blacks are just a very, 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 very dark blue. But yes, so it's you have the kind of shooting stuff, but you also have a melee weapon, which is a bit different from these games often. And dash movement is really important. It starts off with a basic dash so that you can get past enemies, obviously, and then move someone where you can pause time and move a cursor around the arena, and then you'll dash between those sections. Really good. The combat is good. I enjoy it. It's a little bit simplistic, but it's fun. The only negative, I'd say, the only main negative, and probably why it may not have got some traction, is the opening levels are really dull. And that's compounded by the tutorial being quite weak, explaining how things work, and that carries on. The tutorial for all the extra stuff that you get later on isn't great either. And I reckon a lot of people might have dropped off because there's a good sort of half hour, 45 minutes of like, you don't really know what you're doing and it's all a bit bland. And then it kind of hits the 1 hour mark and really, really picks up. So yeah, it's got its problems at the start, but it turns into something pretty fun. So yeah, from what I've played so far, it's really good.
Yeah, it's one I've had kind of on my radar and never got round to, purely because my main issue with it, looking at it, is I'm rubbish at bullet hell, and it doesn't look bullet hell, but it's got whenever I've seen trailers or I've seen people playing it, it has that feel of bullet hell to it that makes me go, I'm not going to be very good at this. Is it bullet hell, or can an idiot like me get something from it?
Yeah, it's very, you are very heavily attacked and you have to move very, very quickly. But I just put it on easy, and easy mode seems to be just like reduce the amount of damage that you take. Doesn't seem to reduce the amount of enemies or how often they attack or anything. So that's good because the game fundamentally doesn't really change, but you just last longer. So it's worth it for that. And it didn't cost me very much. It was like under £3, I think. It was or under £4. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't think there's a demo though. But yeah, no, it was really cheap, and for the money, it's definitely worth it so far.
Yeah, I think it's on my wish list, and it's one I've never got round to. So if I can find it cheap, then yeah, I might give that a go at some point.
Yeah, cool.
It looks lovely though. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
How does it run on Steam Deck?
It runs beautifully, 60 frames, no drops, absolutely perfectly. It looks quite nice. It's a little bit hard to see on, not necessarily for myself, but I think people with any kind of eyesight issues might have a struggle because of the kind of monotone look, and because of the size of the characters when you're on a small screen. It might be an issue for some people, and I haven't looked into accessibility modes, but I will have a look. But yeah, proceed with caution, but have a look at some videos, see what you think.
To be fair, I've just seen it's like £3.50 on CD keys, so
Yeah, I think
I'll go without a coffee one day and give it a go.
Definitely, yeah, go for it.
Oh no, it does bring me to a point, actually, talk about accessibility, screen sizes, stuff like that. So I've been looking at ways I can improve my Steam Deck experience in terms of the screen size. It's like, it's still one of the, for me, even though it's not like OLED and it's not like, 1440p or 4K, like small screens, because you don't need that. You really don't need that. I think it's still one of the best screens to use for a handheld, and they've made the right compromises with the right things. And obviously, the aforementioned Viper deck helps fix some issues that are there. Anyway, but the problem is still that screen size can sometimes be a bit small for me. So I've been looking at ways of getting a bigger screen without having to hook up to a TV while still being portable. Now, I've got two options. One that will cost me around £500 and one that will cost me about £20. So the £500 option is you can get the glasses now with, like, they have the built-in screens that make it seem like 100-inch, like up to 100-inch screen in your eye line, which could be brilliant for me. Not VR. They're not VR things. They are just like monitor glasses. And that looks like it could be a brilliant option for someone like me. The other option is, do you know, not JBL, he was a wrestler. What's that company called that sells crap? JML. Do you know JML?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Now, apparently they've got a pair of like magnifying glasses that have like LED lights on them. Don't care about the LED lights, but they say they increase your thing to 160%. Now, that's fine. I don't need anything spectacular. It's just something I can wear when there's small text, and using the magnifiers a bit of a pain in the arse, and I'm very tempted for 20 quid to give those a go. Which could help for just, you know, where some of the games, I just go like, you like, your text is small or the menus are small, but if I try and zoom in using the screen, the built-in Steam Deck stuff, it takes me out of the experience, or it doesn't quite register properly because it then moves the mouse somewhere else. So I'm thinking of trying those to try and sort of like fix accessibility options.
Yeah.
So that's just a weird aside, and Ruiner, just looking at, like you said, about how small Ruiner is, I think it probably might work great on a bigger screen.
Yeah, there are those sorts of magnifying glasses that can fit over glasses for close work. I
don't need glasses. See, that's the thing. I don't need glasses to play, like, because I'm not the other one. Obviously, I'm blind. But before that, it's the one where I can't see in the distance. I can see, like, close to my monitor, I'm fine. And everything's sharper, like, there. So, was that long-sightedness, am I?
Short-sighted. Yeah.
I'm short-sighted? There you go, I'm short-sighted then. So, I don't even need the glasses. I just need the magnification. So, yeah, I might give those a go.
Yeah, cool.
That was a really weird aside. Sorry, Stu.
Quite all right. What are you playing?
I've been really sort of going for it on the Steam Deck these last few weeks, testing all like the different bits I've missed out. So for a little while I was just playing games. So I decided I'm going to install a couple more plugins using Decky Loader. And one of the plugins I installed is called Decky Recorder, which is basically a screen recorder via a plugin on the Steam Deck, which is absolutely brilliant.
That is clever, yeah.
It is. Works really, really well. And then it just saves it to an MP4 file in your videos folder. So I thought, do you know what? I'll give it a go. Because I've seen some people, like, screen recording. It could cause things to run badly. So I thought I'll play some Wreckfest. I've been playing some Wreckfest anyway. And I thought I'll do some recording on that. And try and see if I can get back in with, like, Premiere Pro and get used to editing again. So done a recording. Now, Wreckfest runs at a brilliant 60 frames per second on medium settings, which is all you need. Again, it's why I was mentioning the screen before. It's all you need on this screen. Medium settings looks fine for 99% of the games you'll play on it. And yeah, it's like I run it, and apart from the odd dip where it was recorded and there was just like an absolute melee going on the track, it just worked really, really well, and didn't notice any issues whatsoever. And the reason I'm talking about Wreckfest now is the other night, or a few nights ago, I watched a video about the state of racing games, and how you can't really tell apart racing games anymore. You know, they've all got the same issues. They're either really dull, too sim-based, you know, the online's broken, or the AI is broken, the AI in the wrong games are too aggressive, or they're in a game where they need to be aggressive, they're not aggressive enough, etc, etc, etc. And every single racing game could be one or the other. You know, it's very hard to tell them all apart.
Yeah.
I was watching the video. I was going, I agree with you, mate. I completely agree with everything you're saying, but you're missing Wreckfest. That game is fun. You know, if you're going to talk about it, that game is so fun. And then, like the guy who's doing the video turns around and goes, the exception to all this is Wreckfest. Because it is. It's just a brilliantly fun game. It's managed to get that blend of being realistic enough that it feels like a solid racing game, but also arcadey enough that it's fun. And yeah, I absolutely love it, and I'm getting very close now to completing it. But it's also got, from what I can tell, you don't need to pay for like regular seasons. So there's new tournament content every month for 6 weeks or whatever. Plus the online's still quite active, and where are all the fun racing games gone? Because we are very limited at the moment on those sort of racing games. It's bad.
It's really very narrow. I think I've not bought it yet, but I was planning to look at getting the Hot Wheels game. But I don't know. It's not really a kind of a racing game or an arcade game. It's kind of something of its own. And the only other thing I can think of is the new Need for Speed, which neither of us will have bought because it's EA. But it got good reviews, and the only problem with that for me is that it's in that Burnout style, which is not a problem. That's great, but that kind of that, and we played that Ridge Racer. What's it called? Unbounded. Yeah, that kind of one where it's kind of a wide. You're driving in a wide field of view, and it's more about boosting forward than it is about turning corners, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
I never really get a lot from that. It's not a bad game. They're not bad games. But I don't really get a lot from that. I mean, Burnout Paradise was the same. They don't hit that arcade sweet spot for me. So, the options are very, very thin on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing I love about sort of like Wreckfest as well is like the Destruction Derby stuff is just brilliant. Where it does not matter. You just go hell for leather and do what you can. The races then add a level of skill to it, where you've got to be able to race properly. You actually have to consider the corners, which is fine. No one says, I want an arcade racer where corners and brakes don't matter. You want those to matter in a racing game, but can you make it fun somehow still?
Yes, yeah.
This does it. This doesn't matter if you smash into another car, because it's designed for that. And yeah, I'm still looking back and going, has Blur and Split Second been better yet? No. And even Wreckfest lacks some of the stuff that Flat Out had. And that's the only thing that honestly stops it from being the best overall racer of the past, I reckon, 30 years, is that it doesn't have the mini games that Flat Out had, because they were brilliant.
Right.
And it's the only thing that stops it. But, in terms of like pure fun, this is top tier. I don't care how good iRacing is. I don't care how good Gran Turismo is, Forza 9 or whatever was coming out next. Even the Forza Horizon games are lacking now. It's just like, well, yeah, they're all right, but I've seen it all. Do something different now.
Yes, yeah.
This is different. It's like developers who remember what fun is. So yeah, it's just I've been playing that. I've been trying to get some recorded footage of it. So I can start doing some videos for it, which you could be watching right now, depending on how you're getting this. You could be watching. You might be. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Wreckfest is brilliant. And I think you can now and again get it very, very, very cheap. So if you do get a chance, pick it up, because it is worth every single penny that you can pay for it. And it, perfect 60 frames per second on the Steam Deck. When you look at some racing games that have less and they struggle, it's amazing what this can actually do. And I hope we get a second one soon. I hope Bugbear aren't done and they can bring something else out, or a massive expansion. I would take a massive expansion for this.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, definitely.
But 5 years old now, that game.
Oh, that's gone fast. Yeah.
I remember having the... I can't remember what it was called originally, but I got it when it was in early access, and it was called, I think, Bugbear's Next Game or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just, more of this. More fun games. That's what we asked for.
Yeah.
Hashtag bring back Blur, because that's the best racing game ever. So there we go.
Cool.
Like and subscribe, just in case, just for the YouTube video. I don't know. Stu, save me.
Yeah, well, the next one I've been playing is a very old one. It's Resident Evil, the remake, remastered in HD. Sort of remastered in HD. It's been given a widescreen makeover, and it's got a higher resolution on the characters and on the backgrounds, but the background assets themselves aren't made very high res. But anyway, that's really beside the point. It's my number 3 game of all time. It absolutely holds up. It's just a peerless game. And it's different enough from 2, which is at least it used to be a lot of people's favourite classic Resident Evil 2. It's better than that for me, but for a couple of reasons, but the main one being the mansion and the scariness and the spookiness. It's the only game that nailed its own horror aesthetic, horror action, survival horror thing, as well as to that kind of perfect degree. The rest of them are brilliant. Not all of them, obviously, but a lot of them are brilliant. But this one, I don't know. They just managed to get the right balance of zombies and then scaling those up to bioorganic weapons, the BOWs, making that feel natural. The different areas are so really well rendered. I'm one of those people who never pays attention to soundtracks, but the soundtrack is just fire. It is absolutely amazing, and everyone probably remembers the savoury music, that relaxing music when you finally get to a safe space. And I'm doing all sorts of runs. I've played it to death, obviously. I must have put 40, 50 hours into it over various consoles. I did a 1.5 hour speed run on the original game on the Saturn. I owned it on the PlayStation. I've played it on various other things. The remaster on the GameCube. This one I've done a run on the initial hardest setting under 3 hours. I'm now doing, with Jill, I'm now doing a Chris run, which is going to be no heals and no ink ribbons used. Then I'm going to do Real Survivor, which is the one where the storage boxes aren't linked. And then I'm going to do Invisible Mode, and then I'm going to do a knife-only run. So I've got big plans for carrying on with this.
This is your Tetris, isn't it?
It basically is. Yeah. So it's the inventory management, everything about it is just the structure, the layout, the camera angles, the shocks, the scares, the feedback of the weapons, just everything about it. It just makes it a just almost flawless game. I just love it. It's amazing.
Yeah. It is a classic. It really, really is. So with that in mind, have you heard of a game called Echoes of the Living?
No, I don't think I have.
Check it out when you get a chance. But basically, it's a love letter to Resident Evil. Fixed camera angles, save rooms, ribbons, puzzles. Everything that is Resident Evil is there, but given the right amount of quality of life by the looks of it. Where if someone has said to you, this is Resident Evil's twin brother, you'd go, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, definitely. It just everything I've seen about it makes me want it, and I'm not the biggest Resident Evil fan. I prefer Silent Hill. Sorry, didn't mean that.
Wash your mouth out, Bradley.
Yeah, but I it's on my wish list. It popped up to me the other day, actually. And I just went, yep, I like the look of this. I'm all in. And I think this is right up your street.
Excellent. No, yeah, thank you for that. I will definitely be picking that up, even if it's crap.
Call it Resident Evil.
What's the T-evil bit?
Well, no, I'm trying to think the way of fitting the words indie in there. It's basically it's an indie Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah. Resident Evil. Resident Evil? Resident Evil. That'll do.
There you go. There's our title. Good luck spelling that one.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, I love Resident Evil, but I struggle to go back to it at times. Not purely because of it's aged badly. I think I completed it maybe 4 or 5 times over, which was unheard of for me when I was that age. Yeah. It's unheard of for me now, and I enjoyed 2. I thought 2 was okay, and I've not touched the remake yet of 2, and I really should at some point. But yeah, the original Silent Hill, the original Resident Evil, basically ruined all other survival horror games for me because they both nailed it in their own ways. And I honestly, for the experience of the time and everything, it's just like, oh my God, that's hit me in so many ways. I don't think they've ever been bettered.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't think they have, but there's some brilliant ones that are close, but never quite done. I know, like you and I said, when it comes to Resident Evil 4, I think Dead Space runs at a very, very close race. But in terms of classic Resident Evils, they've never been bettered in that style, no.
No, and it's like, I think when we had, like, if you go back to, about 10 years ago now, I think, must have been, it's around the time of the PS4 coming out, you have things like Outlast coming out, which everyone was like, oh, this is the new breed of horror, and it's just like, no, it's just walking around somewhere dark. I was more scared by Resident Evil because it nailed the atmosphere, and the tension was there, whereas, like, again, I've said this before and I won't go over too much, Outlast is... 5 minutes in going, oh, this is tense, going, 10 minutes in, yeah, right, where's the tension, something's coming after me, there's a shock.
Yeah.
Whereas Resident Evil and Silent Hill, you honestly didn't know what was coming and when, and that ramped up the tension. And yeah, I love them, brilliant games. Resident Evil, I'm gonna have to play it again, Stu.
Do it, yeah. My key was about £2.50, something ridiculously cheap like that. So, yeah, definitely worth it.
Is yours the HD?
Yeah.
It wasn't a remake, was it? It was a remaster type thing.
Yeah. The official title is Resident Evil HD Remaster.
Fair enough, I might. Yeah, okay. You're costing me money I don't have, Stu.
Well, I would play that before Ruiner. Ruiner's good, but yeah, Resident Evil is just... the GOAT, so do it.
Yes, it is, definitely. I've got a lot of Resident Evil games, though. Just looking. I haven't got 3, but anyway. So, moving on. Last one for this week. Short one. Short enough, anyway. I've been playing Dune, or June? I suppose. I'm going to say Dune. June Spice Wars, I've been playing. And I've had this key. I've got sent a key, and I've had this for... a couple of months now. The only reason I'm getting through to talking about it now is it's not very easy. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to try and play a 4X real-time strategy game on Steam Deck with story-based stuff and management and everything that's going on, plus the deep lore of Frank Herbert's world.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, I know. I really like it. I still don't know what I'm doing, on the whole, but I like it. It's got so you get different types of 4X type games, and the ones that generally bring in the real time strategy with them, I struggle with, but this one I found it okay. What really was the struggle for me was the colony management and stuff like that, and having to deal with the politics and everything that there is in there. Literally, this is a game where I won't keep politics out my game because I didn't want to do that side of it. I just want to concentrate on the battles, not because I'm going like full on right. It was like, can I have an option without the politics, please, just so I can concentrate because I've got ADHD. But yeah, it's really, really, really good. It controls really well. It plays surprisingly well on the Steam Deck, despite being unsupported. And yeah, I've got it going really well. And listen, it's still early access. It's been out for a while, I think, since beginning of 22. And there's more to come. But if you're into the world of Dune, which I'm assuming most people over 40 have heard of, and most people under 40 are going, what? But if you know Dune, then it covers the lore of Dune really, really well, and it's definitely worth playing. If you like 4X games, it's got something there for you. If you like real-time strategy games, it's got something there for you. If you love the Civ games, it's got a bit of that in there as well. So it's got so much going on for it that, in theory, should trip over each other, but it doesn't. Runs really well, plays really well. And whilst I wouldn't say it's my first 4X game, it's definitely one that an idiot like me is able to work themselves through.
So not
make of that what you will.
So not beginner, but intermediate, maybe.
I don't even know it's that. What I think it's got is a good onboarding process. It's very, very complex, but it's got a good onboard. which is, again, it's vital to games like this. If you want to bring new people into your genre and make money, that's what you've got to do. That's how you've got to do it, is onboard them. And this does a very good job of that. So many systems, so complicated, but good onboarding.
Nice. Cool.
But yeah, just wanted to finish up on that one because it's a game I've just really been enjoying, that's taking me out of my comfort zone, and I can't get anywhere near the end before talking about it because it's one of those games I don't know where the end is.
No.
So I'll get it talked about now. But yeah, and cheap enough, I think. £25 for a 4X game. So, I've seen those go for many hundreds by the time all the DLC's out. So, give this one a go. If you're into it, give it a go.
Cool. Yeah. The only thing I have to input is I really prefer the American way of saying D, like D beginning. Most words that begin with D is like Duel and Dune rather than Duel and June, because it's really confusing in British English when you say duel, and it can mean either a duel with swords or a duel with, carrots. A duel with carrots, there's another possible title for this podcast.
I throw diamonds at you all the time, Stu.
Oh, you do?
Those kind of duels.
Yeah. So, Dune.
It's like Lo hates it, or everyone hates it, because I can't say... Right. First of all, Cole and Cole. One's the name in Walking Dead, and the other one is that black stuff that you find in mines and whatever. Yeah, and lair and lair. One being like the Thundercats lair, and the other one being where you layer stuff on top of each other.
Ah, right.
So I struggle with my native tongue because my brain's just going... there you go, there's your title.
Yeah, my brain goes blank.
No, I want you to actually do the noise. Spell that one. So June. We're playing June in March and April.
See what you did there.
I don't know. Save me, Stu. What do I need to do? I'm going to shut up now.
Okie dokie. So yes, it's been a very trying week. Just wanted to acknowledge that. I was playing Resident Evil a lot because one of my family members, extended family on my wife's side, was in a terrible accident and is in critical condition. So it's been a really challenging week. So games have been a really good escape for it, and people have been really lovely and very supportive, which is great. We acknowledge that we discussed Wreckfest, and just to reassure everybody that we're not being insensitive, I talked it through with Brad. I got no issues with it being discussed in the podcast. If you want to talk about things in your life, anything at all, either as an escape or to talk about an issue in particular, then do join our Discord, which is full of great people and great chat. Follow us on all the socials. Make sure you follow our YouTube content, especially as it's going to be ramped up with stuff very soon. And in the meantime, until next week, stay safe and stay sane.